Okay, hello everybody. So it's nice to be here again. Today I want to talk about list-dbin.org. I want to start with who am I, for those who don't know who I am. The actual states of list-dbin.org, where can you help, and maybe collecting some ideas from the crowd to see where we can improve list-dbin.org. As mentioned in the title of the talk and the description, it's a problem-oriented talk, so we will talk about a lot of problems we have in lists, but I also have some numbers for you so that you get an idea what we are doing at lists. First, for me, I'm a Debian developer since 2003, the old Elmo days. And for some time, I'm also having some hats on Debian. This is Listmaster. This started in 2006 or 2007. I'm a backports FTP master. Back in the old days, I founded the project together with Norbert Tritowski, which is not in Debian anymore. But since these days, I run backports Debian.org. By accident, I also got admin of the old Debian.org because I was the only one left and somebody gave me root by accident. However, that's the reason why I'm also a Salsa admin. More on that on the later talk. In my free time, if you can call it like that, I'm a father of 4 kids. And I work at Creditive, which is nowadays a business unit of NetApp. So, life is complicated. I'm a manager in a US company, I would say. But I still do open source there. And also tech lead and marketing and all those things that come with such a job. So, let's talk about lists. And thanks to generative AI, that is a great feature that you can just create your images in a few seconds for such a talk. So, lists. List-dbin.org is a special beast. For those who come from the old days, the software behind list-dbin.org is SmartList. For those who don't know what SmartList is, SmartList is a collection of procmail files together with some shell binaries. It's heavily customized by us. So somebody will always say, hey, let's move to Mailman. And I can just say, yeah, maybe give me a man a year and we can do this with all the features we had before. But otherwise, moving to something new is not that easy. We have 120,000 Unix subscribers distributed over 317 active lists. Over the past, we had something like 400 or 500 lists from which I'm already closed, for example, old architectures or stuff that's not needed anymore. From the beginning of the project, this is the oldest mail we could find in our archive, which is from January 1994, from Bruce itself. For those, very interesting is these errors too. That was like things were done in the old time, where everything was running at Pixar. And for those who don't know, and are not old enough, all of those release names, Holger. All those release names from Debian, which are Pixar characters, that has a reason, because Debian started at Pixar as a distribution for the render farm. That's one of the reasons we are still allowed to use those characters. And as you can see, the mailing lists were hosted on Pixar.com in the beginning. So, Debian is old. And we collected 7.4 million mails over the past, which is a lot. Of course, there are some duplicates, but we have some archives. Let's talk about the team. it's of course me. We have Cord, we have Vince, and to some extent we have Don, which is BTS maintainer, but from time to time he also helps for lists. And we also have Sledge, which is not a list master, but he's doing a tremendous job when it comes to updating our spam filters, because he's the one who reads Debian user all the time, completely. And if you see there's some spam, he adjusts our spam rules, which is very, very helpful. Thanks, Sledge. As announced, we will talk about problems. The problem is the world changed a bit over the last years. Email is not what it was before. And I don't know who's using Google here, but I can only say Google is not a good thing to receive mailing lists. Because I'm pretty sure you are missing some of our mails. Google is enforcing a lot of new stuff to emails. DKIM, DMARC, ARC, whatever you call it. Short explanation, it's all about signing mails to track the origin of mails, together with a little bit DNS and, of course, cryptical signatures and so on. And all those protocols were not designed for mailing lists. They play really bad with mailing lists. However, the biggest email providers, the Telecom, Google, Microsoft, and others, start enforcing these tools, and we will have to change. For example, I don't know who reads the postfix mailing list. They did the change a little bit more than a year ago. They also do rewriting of from headers. So you can't answer an email anymore because the form header is rewritten to a different person, the list itself, which that helps to improve the reputation. So that's a problem we have to face with. So if there's anybody who is really experienced in these topics, please come to us and help us. There's also that problem. I don't do any mail professionally anymore. So I'm not completely up to date with the latest developments. That also counts for the other team members. So we will have to find a way to improve the lists in a way that other people will accept them again. And that we not end in spam or get rejected. Google has also the nice thing that it just eats mail without noticing anybody. Spam prevention. As you can imagine, we have a lot of spam on our mailing lists. I would say we reject something, or to reject, drop, eat, whatever, something between 1,000 and 5,000 spam mails a day. That's hard to measure because we have a lot of tools in place that begins with graylisting, blacklisting, policy daemon in the front. Then there's Amavis and Spam Assassin. There's also some tunings in the proc mail rules. So we are doing a lot of things in different areas to improve spam. And I would say, given the whole scope, we are doing a pretty good job. But however, it can always be improved. So we have list one, and there's a button, report spam. Please use it. We can't read all mails. And if you think you want to help us by improving the anti-spam setup, please talk to us. You can find all our spam rules for Spam Assassin on salsa.debian.org under the list master group. So if you want to provide patches, please go ahead. If you have some ideas how to improve it, please go ahead and talk to us. If you want to rewrite our learning process, and especially the archive removal process, which is currently taking 1 or 2 hours a day just of processing time for archive removals, we can also use help. There's also that problem, you reported it a few times, that just eating mails, when it doesn't comply to our policy, is not very user-friendly. So moving things to the font, to SMTP time, would also improve the user experience to some extent. But that also needs work. For reasons we don't want spam assistant in the font, for example, or zigcheck. But maybe we will find a solution. Talk to us if you have ideas.
Which MTA are we currently using?
We're using postfix. Another problem is zigcheck. Some of you, especially those Thunderbird users from us, have experienced if they want to send to the announce mailing list that it isn't possible that easy. Because the way Thunderbird interprets signatures and DPG MIME does not comply with the zigcheck tool we use. Zigcheck is a tool from UD-LDAP, which is user dear LDAP, and the user management tool used by the Debian system administrators. And if you use MUD, you are perfectly fine. But if you're using other clients, you can have problems. And this is a lot of maintenance burden on our side, because we already have to explain, no, you did it wrong, that doesn't work, please do it otherwise. And as I said, we just dropped those mails. This also leads to a lot of frustration on the user side. So if you want to help us improving that tool, or write a new tool which is able to check signatures against specific keyrings, or the LDAP, please talk to us. Manpower. Basically, I would say I do the main administration work for the whole lists. Cord and Vince answer mails, which is pretty nice when it comes to mails from users or ISC. But that's not enough. As I said, I also administer Salsa, backports, and lists. And I have a job, and for kids. So we could need help here. So if there are people that think they are old enough to know all those tools like ProcMail, Shell, Smart List, or want to learn them, Perl is of course also very important. Everything we have written is in Perl. Sometimes it's even Perl 5. That's the maintaining part, but what we definitely don't have the time for is implementing new features. So that's the reason I'm asking here. So if you want to help us, please come by. So you don't have to do everything. You don't have to get a list master, but there are enough tasks where you can help isolate it. Or a bug tracker. If you ever did bugsdbn.org/listdbn.org, you will see a lot of bugs. Some of them are valid, some not. Some needs to get sorted, some has to get closed. It could really need some love. And that is something people can do without being a list master. So if you want to give it a try, check the BTS, check if the complaints are valid, or if it's even reproducible. Sometimes reports are such a low quality that you are not able to reproduce it. For example, we take logs for 2 days, and if you need a specific log, and somebody reports a problem weeks later, we are not able to track it down. As you can imagine, we have a lot of logs per day, and finding a problem is already hard enough. But without logs, it's impossible. So that's also an area where you could need help. Search, that's my problem from yesterday. As you have seen, search is currently disabled because, as with every upgrade, it breaks. Search is an obscure mixture of Python 2, which I ported to Python 3 yesterday, and C++ with Xapian. Xapian is also not the most or best maintained tool, and it's pretty obscure. I don't know much people that are using it. Xapian is an indexer for stuff. It can tokenize text and make it searchable, like Elasticsearch, if you were much bigger. I don't want Elasticsearch. But maybe Lucene or something like that, something more modern, would be capable and more maintainable. But otherwise, it would already help to use the whole source code and bring it up to one Python tool, for example, with Xapian bindings without C++. So it doesn't break every time. It uses gmime, which is also not the best maintained mail library and so on. So yeah, if you want to do some scientific work and want to index a lot of mail, make it searchable, create a nice web front end for that, that is your problem. Plans. Of course, we also have plans. I want to do an open list master sprint, which means it doesn't help we as a team get in a closed room. We want to do something open, where everybody can participate and give ideas, spend some time with us, help us, and let's see what comes out of it. And for the next year, I also want to participate again in the Google Summer of Code, for example, to get my search problem solved unless somebody else does it before. So let's sum it up. We need help. A lot of areas in Debian need help because most things are not that well maintained. So there's a lot of services that need help. Be it packages Debian.org, be it lists Debian.org, the website. There's so much stuff where we can where we need people that help. Packaging is nice, but packaging is not everything. We have a big distribution with a lot of users and a lot of maintainers, and we have a lot of infrastructure, and we need to maintain it. And maintaining is not everything. You want new features. Out of new features come new ideas and new drive for the distribution. So pick your favorite pet and do something. For our case, it's improve spam rules, fix bugs, fix stick check, help us with the DKIM DMARC ARC topic. Just be it, talk to me 2 hours and explain me exactly what we have to do, how we have to do it, without breaking everything. Or even join the team. So that's my last slide. So I have to ask you, do you have any ideas for lists that I don't have? Thomas?
So everyone knows it's not the first time that we ask for help and you want to implement new features. What about removing old features and concentrate on the important stuff? For example, lists. Yeah, we want to have mailing lists, but do we need our own search engine? And since Xapian is the same search engine that we use on the web pages, where I still think, do we need this? I think, yeah, then that should also be taken into account to remove some services which may be not used that often because on the web pages the search results are bad, or there are some other search engines that can do the job much better than our own. What do you think about this?
When it comes to search for the website, I would perfectly agree. Searching websites is a solved problem. When it comes to mail, you want to have a more specialized search engine. Do you want to filter for a specific date, for a specific form too, and so on? That is not that easy. So, but if there is an external site we can use, or a service we can just set up that just works. For example, we should look into the things the mailman guys did. I forgot the name of the component. Kitty. It's called Kitty. Hyper-Kitty. I'm sorry. Kitty is the terminator. We should look around what there is. I don't want to invent the wheel. If there's something we can just use, I would be perfectly happy to use it.
I think one problem is people like to set up new features, new services, but shutting them down because no one cares about it or it takes too much work. That's typical. Not that easy for us humans to remove things.
Yeah.
So that was one thing I thought. If the search is not that specialized or takes a lot of time, concentrate on the mailing lists and not on the search.
Yeah, but I think search, every time it breaks, it doesn't take long until somebody detects it. So that's usually a sign of people are using it. So I would say search is an important thing.
So are you aware of public inbox? Because that pretty much, does the archiving and searching stuff for email. The kernel people use it for their lists. It's pretty nice.
I don't know it yet. So that's the reason we're asking here. Yeah.
Any more questions?
Perfect.
If that is not the case, thank you for your talk, Alex.